Alright guys, Tyler again from Sport Motorsports. Thanks for tuning into this episode. On today's episode we continue getting everything on. Hopefully you can see what I put on so far. We're going to work on doing the exhaust, some of the tubing, the up pipe, checking the turbo, working on the oil cooler, and some of those odds and end pieces we need to start to get onto the swap motor. Alright guys, if you're liking these episodes, make sure you comment, give us some thumbs up, help us continue on with this build, and hopefully this episode will be helpful for you to continue on with the progress. So stay tuned with me, let's get some stuff done, we'll try to get some more pieces on this motor, get it ready to put it into the WRX. Alright guys, I want to give you an update on what is happening and us working on assembling the block. So let me flip this around and show you what's going on. Alright guys, as you can see, we have the US water jacket. We got the US piping in and connected down to a new US water pump down there. The hoses up and connected where they need to go. We finished up the valve cover gaskets, so we put new ones of those. The originals seemed that they were changed before and they were still rubbery, but I already had them, so I just went ahead and changed them. Also, the cover's back on, so that means we got the timing done. That you definitely want two people to help out. There's probably specialty tools to make your life easier. We didn't have them, but it was way easier to have two people help out. On these cams here, we had to set them back one tooth, so by the time we got the tensioner in, they were all lining up with the timing. So if you want to know how to do the timing, I can put a link or maybe email you a PDF with the timing schematics for a Subaru motor. Alright guys, I got the gasket for the oil cooler, and we got the plug out and the little nipples gasketed and put back in there, and I got the oil filter bolt that was up in the housing out. So now I can put in the oil cooler setup and run the coolant line that comes across into the oil cooler and then connect it up to that. So I'm going to work on that right now. That way I can put the exhaust back on, and we have the upper manifold reassembled, gasketed, some new hoses, about ready to go on over there. It is messy, it leaks a whole bunch of stuff, have rags, be able to clean it up. Just a warning for your parents' garage, wherever you're doing it, your buddy's house, your drive, or the road, because you'll get crap everywhere. So let me get the oil cooler on and hopefully work on getting the exhaust back on. Alright guys, there is the oil cooler. I was cleaning it off, there's gasket stuff. Under investigation, it looks like there's like RTV on it. So I think it was ripped before I got it, but be careful not to rip it, because they're like $8 to get a new Subaru oil cooler ring. So put the sucker on, finish cleaning that up down here, then we'll go on getting it onto the engine there. guys, so I got the motor mounts on. The oil cooler is finished and mounted, and I'm going to work on getting the exhaust manifold up so I can get the turbo and stuff on, so I can work on the feed down from the turbo to make sure I get something to work for the oil return line from the turbo. So let me get these up. I got new gaskets for this part, so I'm going to slide them up there, get this on and tighten it down, then work on getting on the turbo stuff. So as you can see, I had some trouble getting the exhaust on, so I had to take it apart, and there's still a little bit of gap, so we'll keep them all loose. I'm trying to suck them together and put in a new exhaust gasket on there, and then hopefully we can pull it back together, then tighten everything else back up onto the exhaust studs. If you have an extra person, it'll make your life a lot easier. Be able to hold stuff up. It's kind of hard one person, but we're managing with it so far. Alright guys, so we have a Megan Racing exhaust up pipe. The cat is broken in there, it's rattling around. It weighs twice as much, and I wanted something more free flowing than the catted one, so we're gonna wrap a Megan Racing one. It comes with all the new hardware. We're gonna get the studs in it, kind of like the factory one over there. Get the studs in it and get it ready to, get this ready to install on the exhaust manifold we just put on. So right here is where it attaches to the exhaust manifold. Up here is where the turbo goes on. So hopefully this will help with some performance, give a little more flow, and help increase the power hopefully on the old Subaru. Get a little more out of it than what the factory one has to offer with the cat. So the Megan Racing has a flex joint in the center. That's why I preferred them over some of the other ones. Some of these things, you know, fitment wise, it's going to be way better than your cheaper eBay one. So spend the $20 or $30 more for a nicer setup that'll hopefully help fit better. It has proper hardware and things like that to help get it all set up. So I'm going to unwrap this, work on wrapping this up, and they have metal zip ties, and we'll get those put on here. So you can see there's the huge difference. I can see all the way through the tube. There's light on the end of it. It's nice, free flowing, has the bung for the temp sensor, intakes temperature sensor, and overall it looks pretty decent. Welds look pretty good, metal looks pretty nice, so it doesn't look too bad to me. Here's the factory. You can't see anything in there. The old fat cat honeycomb is right here in the center. And I can touch it right down there. So we're going to get rid of that. Upgrade it. Well, I guess the whole thing was blurry. So they're working on getting it wrapped. And there's a spray you spray over it to seal this stuff. And it's cans like 15 bucks. So I want to finish, tighten them up. This thing, snip them, and then spray it down so it can seal it. Alright guys, a little issue running into. This tube we knew we had to work with is actually in the way. This is pressing it in and it's pushing it up into this one here. So I gotta figure out what to do. I'm gonna take off this to get that to underneath the turbo. There's a little oil feed line that comes down underneath. Can't really see it. But yeah, figure out what to do with that. Everything else though is getting there. So progress is happening. Just we gotta figure out this next little issue. Alright guys, thanks for tuning into this episode. We got a few things done. I'm pretty glad with the progress. The turbo return feed, oil return feed is a little bit of an issue, so when we go home tonight, think about it, come back with a plan. Hopefully in the next episode I can show you what I'm going to do to fix that problem and be able to get the feed line hooked up to the turbo. As you guys saw, I had to take the exhaust apart, put the gasket in, squeeze it back together into place to make it work. Having that little tube fitment, the up pipe, it seems to fit really well. It's a little bit fatter there at the flex, and I think that's part of what's hitting the return tube feed, and so we'll work on that. But again, make sure you like and subscribe, continue watching some videos and follow along with this build. Again, we're glad that JDM Engine Pro is supporting and sponsoring this engine swap. So shout out to them, and make sure you go on and comment below anything you might need or help or questions for us. Appreciate everybody. We're about to that 150 subscribers. Things are going and growing, and hopefully more momentum will come to the channel as we continue on with the build. So make sure you tune in for more to come from Sport Motorsports. Till next time, guys.